Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has seen thousands of civilians killed. It's displaced millions, and it's also seen cultural heritage sites, churches, museums, galleries destroyed. And that threatens Ukraine's culture and a way of life. Well, now Ukraine's Ministry of Culture has teamed up with ride-hailing app Uber to rescue national treasures by quite literally driving them out of harm's way. And with me now is the company's CEO, Dara Khosrowshahi, joining us from San Francisco. Welcome to you, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today. So to begin with, explain how your service Uber Restore works and what it's been able to do, essentially operating in a war zone.
Well, we started on the ground in Ukraine, really focused on saving lives, helping refugees get to safety, helping doctors and nurses essentially going and helping, providing free transportation. Then in May, the Ministry of Culture, the Ukraine Ministry of Culture, contacted us through the State Department and the Smithsonian about this issue, which is Ukraine's cultural heritage. History is under threat. Artifacts, galleries, etc., are disappearing or are in desperate need of repairs. And so what we then did was build a custom solution of our mobility app, which we call Uber Restore, which gives access to the great people from the Ministry of Culture to go out to those museums, galleries, gather the artifacts that are under threat, repair locations that need repair, and essentially do our very best to preserve Ukraine's history and its cultural heritage.
Right, and this is the philanthropic aspect of your work. Now, we've seen the company also admit to, quote, mistakes and missteps in response to Uber leaks, of course, which were before your leadership, but they've affected Europe, including talk of these close ties with Emmanuel Macron, for example, when he was economy minister and trying to gain access and a better hold on the French market here. How have you been tackling that since 2017 when you took over?
Well, the way that I've been tackling it, we can't make make any excuses for past behavior. But when I came in, we underwent a radical cultural transformation. This is a company that was an upstart, but we did many things too fast. And what I wanted to do was reformulate the culture of the company so that we continue to innovate, we continue to be entrepreneurial, but we grew the right way. You've seen us taking leads in sustainability. We've got the largest electric fleet of vehicles on a global basis and have committed to be emission-free by 2030 in the US, Canada, and Europe, 2040 all over the world. So we've taken a lead in sustainability. We've taken a lead in terms of safety, making sure that we're the safest transportation platform on Earth. And actually now, we're now working with taxi across many countries. And if you remember, taxi and Uber were enemies to some extent.
I wanted to ask you about taxi and the fact that, here in France, there is a bit of a shortage of drivers. And now Uber wants to get, taxi drivers on board to kind of essentially create a bigger pool. But my question to you would be, many Uber drivers and taxi drivers specifically here in France, they remember 2014 and they remember Uber Pop and how difficult it made for them to continue making a living. So how will you incentivize taxi drivers to get on board with this?
Well, I think for us right now, in every country that we operate in, we make sure that we operate under a proper regulated and licensed manner, first of all. And I think, like you said, there's a shortage of drivers and vehicles right now. So the earnings that Uber drivers are making really all around the world are quite strong. And drivers get to have the flexibility of being able to drive whenever they want, to deliver whenever they want, but also earnings levels are quite robust. And we think that we can offer the same technology, the same earnings opportunities to taxi as well. It's not a surprise that more and more of demand for transportation is going to come through your phone, and is going to come through e-hail versus, let's say, a street hail or telephone. And Uber is the company that is best positioned to provide that demand whether it's to Uber drivers or ultimately taxi drivers as well.